Module 1. Medical Issues and Physiological Psychology. Physiological psychology, often referred to as biopsychology or behavioral neuroscience, is a fascinating subfield of psychology that delves into the intricate relationship between the brain, the body, and behavior. It seeks to understand how biological processes and neural mechanisms contribute to human and animal behavior, cognition, and emotions. This discipline bridges the gap between biology and psychology, offering profound insights into the physical underpinnings of our thoughts, actions, and feelings. One of the fundamental tenets of physiological psychology is the notion that the brain is the epicenter of our mental and emotional experiences. Researchers in this field explore brain structure and function, examining how neural circuits, neurotransmitters, and hormones influence behavior. They investigate various aspects of brain activity, from basic processes like perception and motor control, to complex phenomena such as memory, consciousness, and emotion. The practical applications of physiological psychology are manifold. This discipline has contributed significantly to our understanding of mental disorders and neurological conditions, paving the way for innovative treatments and therapies. By unraveling the neural basis of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia, researchers can develop targeted interventions and medications that alleviate suffering and improve the quality of life for millions. Physiological psychology has implications for fields beyond clinical psychology. It informs educational practices, helping educators design curricula that align with the cognitive development of students. It also impacts the realm of sports psychology, providing athletes with strategies to optimize their performance by harnessing the power of their brain-body connection. Medical issues and physiological psychology are intrinsically intertwined, as they both explore the intricate relationship between the human body and the mind. Physiological psychology, a branch of psychology, delves into the biological processes that underlie our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It seeks to unravel how the brain, nervous system, and hormones influence our mental states. Understanding medical issues through the lens of physiological psychology is crucial. Many health problems have psychological components, such as the impact of stress on heart health or the role of neurotransmitters in mental illnesses. Moreover, psychological factors can influence medical outcomes, affecting patient compliance, pain perception, and even immune function. By merging the realms of medicine and physiological psychology, we can develop more holistic approaches to healthcare. This integration allows for a deeper comprehension of conditions like chronic pain, addiction, and psychosomatic disorders, leading to more effective treatment strategies that address both the physiological and psychological aspects of these complex issues. In essence, medical issues and physiological psychology are indispensable partners on the path to comprehensive well-being. Epileptic seizures and physiological psychology. Epileptic seizures are a complex neurological phenomenon that has fascinated and challenged researchers for centuries. The study of epilepsy within the realm of physiological psychology has provided valuable insights into the brain's intricate workings and the intricate interplay between biology and behavior. Physiological psychology, also known as biopsychology or behavioral neuroscience, seeks to unravel the biological underpinnings of behavior and mental processes. Epileptic seizures offer a unique window into this field because they involve both observable behavioral manifestations and underlying physiological mechanisms. These seizures result from abnormal electrical activity in the brain, leading to a wide range of symptoms, from convulsions to altered consciousness. Researchers in physiological psychology have made significant strides in uncovering the neural basis of epileptic seizures. Through advanced neuroimaging techniques such as functional MRI and electroencephalography, EEG, they have identified specific brain regions and networks involved in seizure generation and propagation. This knowledge has not only improved our understanding of epilepsy but has also paved the way for more precise diagnostic and treatment strategies. Furthermore, research in physiological psychology has shed light on the complex interplay between genetics, neurotransmitters, and environmental factors in the development and progression of epilepsy. This interdisciplinary approach has allowed for a holistic understanding of epilepsy, transcending the boundaries of traditional neurology and psychology. An aura characterized by the resurgence of a childhood memory typically indicates heightened neural activity within the temporal lobes, often associated with seizure activity. The corpus callosum is a critical structure within the human brain, serving as a bridge that connects the two cerebral hemispheres, the left and right halves. This bundle of nerve fibers enables communication and coordination between the brain's two hemispheres, allowing them to work together harmoniously. It plays a vital role in various functions, including language processing, motor coordination, and sensory integration. Damage to the corpus callosum can result in a condition known as split brain, where the hemispheres become less integrated, leading to intriguing cognitive effects. Imagine that your corpus callosum has been surgically divided to reduce your epileptic seizures. Now, picture your left nostril being obstructed with a piece of cotton, while a fragrant rose has been positioned near your right nostril. In such a scenario, the presence of the rose would not elicit a verbal description of this encounter. The statement "the presence of the rose would not elicit a verbal description of this encounter" is related to a phenomenon known as split brain or split brain syndrome. This phenomenon can be explained by the fact that, in split brain patients, the two hemispheres of the brain are often unable to communicate directly with each other due to the severed corpus callosum. The left hemisphere, which is dominant for language in most individuals, cannot receive information directly from the right hemisphere. Therefore, if the right hemisphere perceives the scent of the rose, it may not be able to convey that experience to the left hemisphere in a way that would result in a verbal description. As a result, the individual might not be able to articulate or communicate their sensory experience, even though they can still perceive it to some extent. Neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of the nervous system. Neurotransmitters are the unsung heroes of our intricate nervous system, orchestrating the symphony of signals that enable our bodies to function. These remarkable molecules, often minuscule in size but monumental in importance, serve as the vital messengers that facilitate communication between neurons and are at the heart of virtually all neural processes. At the core of neurotransmitter function is the transmission of information from one neuron to another. This transmission occurs at synapses, the junctions where two neurons meet. When an electrical signal, or action potential, travels along the axon of a neuron, it reaches the presynaptic terminal, where neurotransmitters are stored in tiny sacs called vesicles. Upon arrival of the action potential, voltage-dependent calcium channels open, allowing calcium ions to enter the presynaptic terminal. This influx of calcium triggers the fusion of neurotransmitter-containing vesicles with the cell membrane, leading to the release of neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft, a small gap between the two neurons. These neurotransmitters then bind to specialized receptors on the postsynaptic neuron's membrane. This binding initiates a series of biochemical events that either excite or inhibit the postsynaptic neuron, determining whether or not an action potential will be generated and the signal will be transmitted to the next neuron in the circuit. The diversity of neurotransmitters is staggering, with over 100 identified to date, each with its specific functions and roles in regulating our bodily processes. Some of the most well-known neurotransmitters include serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine, each associated with various aspects of mood, behavior, and physiological functions. Imbalances in neurotransmitter levels are implicated in a wide range of neurological and psychiatric disorders, underscoring the critical role these molecules play in maintaining our overall health and well-being. Medications that target neurotransmitter systems have become essential tools in treating conditions like depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia, highlighting the practical implications of our understanding of these chemical messengers. The basics of behavioral neuroscience. Behavioral neuroscience is a multidisciplinary field that explores the intricate relationship between the brain, behavior, and the nervous system. It seeks to unravel the underlying mechanisms that govern our thoughts, emotions, actions, and cognitive processes. This discipline merges the principles of neuroscience, psychology, biology, and even genetics to shed light on how the brain's structure and function influence our behavior. At its core, behavioral neuroscience investigates the physical and chemical processes within the brain and nervous system that shape our conduct. This includes examining the role of neurons, the brain's basic building blocks, and their interactions through electrical and chemical signals called neurotransmitters. The study of brain regions, their specialization, and connectivity patterns is fundamental to understanding how different behaviors emerge. Moreover, behavioral neuroscience delves into the intricate interplay between nature and nurture. It explores the genetic factors that predispose individuals to certain behaviors and how these interact with environmental influences, such as upbringing, trauma, or exposure to drugs and toxins. This nature versus nurture perspective helps us appreciate the complexity of behavior's origins. In addition, behavioral neuroscience plays a pivotal role in advancing our knowledge of brain-related disorders and mental health conditions. Researchers in this field investigate the neural basis of conditions like schizophrenia, depression, and addiction, offering insights into their etiology and potential therapeutic approaches. Furthermore, the practical applications of behavioral neuroscience extend beyond the laboratory. They have implications in fields such as education, clinical psychology, and even marketing. By understanding how the brain processes information and influences decision-making, educators can design more effective teaching methods, therapists can develop better treatments, and advertisers can create more persuasive campaigns. Monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOIs, and physiological psychology, unlocking the mind's potential. Monoamine oxidase inhibitors, or MAOIs, represent a class of drugs that have played a pivotal role in the field of physiological psychology, shedding light on the intricate relationship between neurotransmitters and human behavior. These drugs, originally developed as antidepressants, have provided valuable insights into the neurochemical underpinnings of various psychological disorders and have paved the way for innovative treatments. MAOIs work by inhibiting the action of the enzyme monoamine oxidase, which is responsible for breaking down neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine in the brain. By blocking this enzyme, MAOIs increase the availability of these neurotransmitters in synaptic clefts, facilitating improved mood regulation and enhanced emotional well-being. This mechanism of action has been instrumental in elucidating the role of neurotransmitters in mood disorders, such as depression. Physiological psychologists have leveraged the effects of MAOIs to explore the intricate web of connections between brain chemistry and behavior. Studies using MAOIs have highlighted the importance of neurotransmitters in emotional stability, motivation, and impulse control. These insights have not only deepened our understanding of psychiatric disorders but have also led to the development of more targeted and effective pharmacological interventions. Beyond their application in psychiatry, MAOIs have also demonstrated potential in the treatment of neurological conditions like Parkinson's disease. By modulating the levels of dopamine in the brain, these drugs have offered a new avenue for managing the motor symptoms of this debilitating illness, further expanding their impact in the realm of physiological psychology. A common side effect of monoamine oxidase inhibitor, MAOI, drugs is a potentially life-threatening reaction that can occur when a person consumes cheese or other foods rich in tyramine. Tyramine is a compound found in various aged or fermented foods, such as cheese, wine, and certain meats. MAOIs are a type of medication used to treat conditions like depression and anxiety by inhibiting the activity of the enzyme monoamine oxidase, which breaks down certain neurotransmitters in the brain. When someone takes MAOIs, the inhibition of monoamine oxidase can lead to an accumulation of tyramine in the body. Normally, monoamine oxidase helps to break down tyramine, but when its activity is blocked, tyramine levels can increase. Elevated levels of tyramine can result in a sudden and dangerous spike in blood pressure, a condition known as hypertensive crisis. This hypertensive crisis can have severe consequences, including strokes, heart attacks, or even death if not promptly treated. Therefore, individuals taking MAOIs need to follow strict dietary restrictions to avoid foods high in tyramine, such as aged cheeses, cured meats, certain alcoholic beverages, and other fermented foods. Healthcare providers typically provide detailed dietary guidelines to patients prescribed MAOIs to minimize the risk of this dangerous side effect. If someone on MAOIs inadvertently consumes tyramine-rich foods and experiences symptoms like severe headache, chest pain, or rapid heartbeat, they should seek immediate medical attention to prevent or manage a hypertensive crisis. Impaired eye movements and physiological psychology. The human eye is a marvel of biological engineering, capable of rapid and precise movements that allow us to explore our visual environment. These eye movements are essential for tasks such as reading, tracking moving objects, and maintaining a stable gaze. However, when these movements become impaired, it can have profound implications for an individual's daily life and cognitive functioning. This intersection of impaired eye movements and physiological psychology offers a fascinating area of study and research. Physiological psychology, also known as behavioral neuroscience, investigates the neural mechanisms underlying various psychological processes. Neural mechanisms underpin the intricate workings of our nervous system, enabling complex functions like perception, thought, and movement. At the core of these mechanisms are neurons, specialized cells that transmit electrical impulses and communicate through synaptic connections. When a stimulus is detected, neurons fire action potentials, transmitting information across synapses via neurotransmitters. This electrochemical communication forms the basis of information processing in the brain. Impaired eye movements fall within the purview of this field as they are intimately linked to the complex neural circuitry that governs vision and perception. Researchers in this domain explore how damage or dysfunction in specific brain regions or neural pathways can disrupt the ability to execute smooth and coordinated eye movements. One common condition that illustrates the significance of impaired eye movements is nystagmus. Nystagmus is a disorder characterized by involuntary and repetitive eye movements that can result from various neurological and ophthalmic conditions. Physiological psychologists seek to understand the neural basis of nystagmus and develop interventions to alleviate its impact on visual perception and overall quality of life. The primary reason for this impairment often arises from damage to the muscles connecting the eye sockets when the sclera is affected. Studying impaired eye movements also contributes to our understanding of the brain's plasticity and adaptability. Individuals with visual impairments often develop compensatory strategies to overcome their limitations, reshaping their neural pathways. This adaptation underscores the brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself in response to sensory deficits. The hippocampus. The hippocampus is a small but crucial structure nestled deep within the brain's temporal lobe, playing a central role in learning, memory formation, and spatial navigation. Named after its resemblance to a seahorse, this C-shaped structure serves as a vital hub for various cognitive functions. One of the hippocampus's primary functions is the consolidation of short-term memories into long-term ones. When we experience something new, sensory information is first processed in the neocortex. The hippocampus then steps in to integrate these fragmented memories and link them with existing knowledge. This consolidation process is crucial for creating a coherent narrative of our lives and storing important information for later retrieval. Moreover, the hippocampus plays a critical role in spatial navigation. It helps us build cognitive maps of our environment, enabling us to navigate through unfamiliar spaces and remember important locations. Studies have shown that regular physical exercise can have positive effects on brain structure, including the hippocampus. Aerobic exercise has been associated with hippocampal volume increases, which can contribute to improved cognitive function and memory. The hippocampus is also sensitive to stress and is involved in regulating the body's stress response. Chronic stress can lead to hippocampal atrophy, which is associated with memory deficits and an increased risk of mood disorders, such as depression and anxiety. Furthermore, this structure is closely linked to the formation of episodic memories, which are personal experiences and events tied to specific times and places. Damage to the hippocampus, as seen in certain neurological conditions or through injuries, can result in profound memory impairments. Hippocampal formation. The hippocampal formation, a crucial structure within the brain's limbic system, plays a pivotal role in memory formation and spatial navigation. When this region undergoes enlargement, it can have profound implications for an individual's cognitive and emotional functioning, a phenomenon that has garnered significant attention within the field of physiological psychology. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure located in the medial temporal lobe, is central to the encoding and consolidation of declarative memories, which encompass facts and events. In cases where the hippocampal formation undergoes enlargement, researchers have found an association with superior memory performance. This suggests that an enlarged hippocampus may lead to enhanced memory storage and retrieval capabilities, potentially opening doors to improved learning and cognitive functioning. Jobs that involve continuous learning, problem solving, and cognitive stimulation can help enhance and maintain cognitive function, including the hippocampus. Examples might include professions in research, education, and knowledge-intensive fields. Jobs that involve continuous learning, problem solving, and cognitive stimulation would be a prime candidate for hippocampus because their job demands an extensive knowledge of the city's complex and intricate roadways, landmarks, and routes. Moreover, hippocampal formation is also involved in the regulation of emotions and the formation of emotional memories. The enlargement of this region has been linked to changes in emotional processing. Individuals with an enlarged hippocampus may exhibit altered emotional responses, potentially leading to heightened emotional resilience or vulnerability depending on the specific circumstances. Physiological psychology, as a subfield of psychology, explores the intricate relationship between the brain, behavior, and physiological processes. The study of an enlarged hippocampal formation is of great interest to physiological psychologists because it sheds light on how structural variations within the brain can influence cognition and emotions. Synapses are the fundamental building blocks of neural communication within the intricate network of the human brain. These specialized junctions serve as the interface where information is transmitted from one neuron to another, enabling the brain to process, store, and transmit information. Understanding the structure and function of synapses is crucial to unraveling the complexities of the human brain and its role in cognition, behavior, and overall functioning. At its core, a synapse consists of three essential components: the presynaptic terminal, the synaptic cleft, and the postsynaptic membrane. The presynaptic terminal contains neurotransmitter-filled vesicles, which hold chemical messengers such as dopamine, serotonin, and glutamate. When an electrical impulse, known as an action potential, reaches the presynaptic terminal, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. The synaptic cleft is a small gap that separates the presynaptic terminal from the postsynaptic membrane of the neighboring neuron. It acts as a molecular bridge that neurotransmitters must traverse to reach their destination. This gap serves as a crucial regulatory point in synaptic communication, where neurotransmitter concentration and receptor availability play a vital role in signal transmission. On the postsynaptic side, receptors for neurotransmitters are embedded in the membrane. These receptors are highly specific, ensuring that only the appropriate neurotransmitter can activate them. Once neurotransmitters bind to their respective receptors, they induce a change in the postsynaptic neuron's membrane potential, either depolarizing or hyperpolarizing it. This change in membrane potential determines whether the receiving neuron will transmit the signal further along the neural network. Synaptic plasticity, the ability of synapses to strengthen or weaken over time, is a critical aspect of learning and memory. Long-term potentiation and long-term depression are two forms of synaptic plasticity that underlie memory formation and consolidation. The synaptic changes underlying long-term potentiation in the hippocampus. Long-term potentiation is a crucial process in the brain's ability to form and store memories. It involves a persistent strengthening of synaptic connections between neurons, particularly in the hippocampus, a region essential for memory consolidation. The physiological basis of long-term potentiation lies in the remarkable changes that occur at the synapses within the hippocampus. During long-term potentiatio, there is an enhancement in the presynaptic neuron's ability to release neurotransmitters like glutamate. This increase in neurotransmitter release primes the synapse for more effective communication between neurons. On the postsynaptic side, the receptors for neurotransmitters become more responsive. In particular, the receptors play a pivotal role. These receptors allow calcium ions to enter the postsynaptic neuron when glutamate binds to them. This influx of calcium is critical for the signaling cascades that lead to long-term potentiation. Dendritic spines are tiny protrusions on the postsynaptic neuron that receive input from the presynaptic neuron. During LTP, these spines grow in size and become more robust, increasing their capacity to receive and transmit signals. The combination of enhanced neurotransmitter release, increased receptor sensitivity, and dendritic spine enlargement leads to a sustained increase in synaptic strength. This heightened synaptic efficacy is the hallmark of long-term potentiation. Long-term potentiation is often considered a form of synaptic memory. In addition to the changes mentioned above, the synapse becomes tagged to retain the potentiated state. This tagging enables the preservation of LTP-related modifications over an extended period. Amniocentesis and physiological psychology, exploring the intersection of science and reproduction. Amniocentesis and physiological psychology are two seemingly unrelated fields of study, yet they intersect in profound ways, shedding light on both the intricacies of human development and the complex interplay of biology and psychology during pregnancy. Amniocentesis is a medical procedure that involves the extraction of amniotic fluid from the womb during pregnancy. This procedure is primarily used for prenatal diagnosis, allowing healthcare professionals to assess the health and genetic makeup of the developing fetus. By analyzing the genetic material within the amniotic fluid, scientists can identify chromosomal abnormalities, genetic disorders, and neural tube defects. It offers parents valuable information about their child's health, enabling them to make informed decisions about their pregnancy and future care. Physiological psychology, on the other hand, is a branch of psychology that focuses on the relationship between the brain, nervous system, and behavior. During pregnancy, a mother's psychological state can have a profound impact on the developing fetus. Stress, anxiety, and even maternal mental health can influence fetal development. A physical exam of the mother using amniocentesis can diagnose the presence of Down syndrome in her fetus before birth. Research in physiological psychology explores how these psychological factors can affect neural development, cognitive abilities, and emotional well-being in children. The intersection of amniocentesis and physiological psychology highlights the interconnectedness of physical and psychological aspects of human development. The information obtained through amniocentesis can guide healthcare providers in offering appropriate psychological support to expectant mothers. Additionally, it underscores the importance of mental health care during pregnancy to promote optimal fetal development. The human body possesses an astonishing capacity for self-healing, a process that often extends far beyond the physical realm into the intricate domains of physiological psychology. When we think of healing, we typically focus on the mending of physical injuries, but the mind plays a profound role in this process. Understanding the interplay between physiological and psychological factors is crucial to appreciating the holistic nature of healing. Physical wounds, whether they are cuts, burns, or fractures, initiate a cascade of physiological responses. These include inflammation, immune system activation, and tissue regeneration. However, the mind's influence on this process should not be underestimated. Studies in physiological psychology have demonstrated that mental state and emotional well-being can significantly impact the body's ability to heal. A spouse caring for an Alzheimer's patient might typically require additional time for the healing of a cut on their hand. Stress, for instance, can impede the healing process. The release of stress hormones, such as cortisol, can suppress the immune system, leading to delayed wound healing and increased susceptibility to infection. Conversely, positive emotions like optimism, social support, and a sense of purpose have been associated with faster recovery rates. Furthermore, the placebo effect is a striking example of the mind's power in healing. Patients given inert substances that they believe to be medication often experience genuine improvements in their condition. This phenomenon highlights the intricate connection between the psychological expectation of healing and the physiological responses that follow. Animal rights activists, Bridging the gap between research and physiological psychology. Animal rights activists play a crucial role in advocating for the ethical treatment and protection of animals. Their efforts are not solely driven by emotion but are often grounded in scientific research and principles of physiological psychology. Animal rights activists leverage research findings to shed light on the cognitive and emotional capacities of animals. They draw on studies in ethology, cognitive psychology, and neuroscience to demonstrate that animals can experience pain, suffering, and complex emotions. Research, such as the mirror test for self-recognition in animals or studies on the neurobiology of empathy, bolsters the argument for animal rights by revealing that animals are sentient beings deserving of ethical consideration. Numerous advocates for animal rights contend that the advantages derived from research involving animals can provide a valid justification for its continuation. Physiological psychology underscores the importance of empathy in understanding the mental states of animals. Activists, often informed by this branch of psychology, use empathy as a tool to create a psychological connection between humans and animals. By promoting empathy, activists encourage people to view animals as beings with subjective experiences, thereby fostering a sense of responsibility for their well-being.